Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at Kadena KDA and just going over the recent trade setup which I highlighted a few days ago. So we have got a medium time frame long ABC, and your long entry would have been around about here. Now, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I had my entry down here at around the 32-cent mark from this giant ABC over here. So I got my entry over there, and as I explained in the previous video, wasn't really much point in me exiting my long trade from here only to re-enter over here. We're only up approximately about 12% on that, so I figured I'll just hold this trade. I'm also in a head short, and this was from a 50% retracement up to this level here at around 49 cents, and I got my entry just slightly below that. So I'm happy whichever way the market goes. I'm shelling in a position either way. Now, this entry here so far has been working out. At one point it was up a 10 R&R, and we have retraced back down to the 0.382 level. So if we take a fib from this local high down to this local low, we can see the retracement down to the 0.382. Now I would expect a bounce from here, so we can start making our higher highs and working our way upwards. We will have to be patient and wait and see what happens. I also discussed the opposite scenario where we could be putting in lower lows. So we could be doing something like this, where we have just come up to retest that particular level, and now we are on our way back down to 32 cents, in which case I'll be re-entering my long position from this line over here and hoping that we get a bounce from that level. Now, a few people have asked me to talk about KDA on a macro level and more from an investing point of view. So let's have a look. We are currently on a weekly time frame, and the chart looks pretty grim at the moment. We made our all-time highs back in 2021 at approximately $27, and it's been in a steady decline ever since. We did have a bounce up to about $2. We did that twice actually, and now we are in a downtrend. However, you have to remember that there were some people that were buying KDA at these levels over here, around 25 to 27. They were buying at around $10. They were buying at $16. They were buying all the way throughout this range, because those people at that time thought that that was a fair price for KDA. Now, if anyone remembers the bull market of 2021, it was a crazy run, highly euphoric, and so we had this massive run. KDA was super hyped up as well by a few influencers, and that led to this extreme parabolic run. So I'm almost discounting this area of the chart, this price action here, because this coin came onto the market and immediately just shot up. So it had no real time for any organic price action to occur, for any organic growth to occur. That's why we're seeing this, or we have seen this steady decline over the last 4 years or so. Now, whenever I look at an altcoin and I'm trying to decide whether it's a good investment or not, I always tell myself, do I want to be buying all the way up here, or do I want to be buying down here in these areas? Because the truth of the matter is, folks, opportunity never feels like opportunity. Even now, there are so many people that will be claiming KDA is dead, it's a shit coin, it's dead in the water, there's no upside potential. But it all depends on your risk appetite, and the risk to reward ratio for KDA is huge in my opinion. If we take it from the current level, we are looking at approximately a 70x. Whether it's ever going to see $27 again or exceed this price, no one can say for sure. However, I know I'd rather be buying down here than waiting for these levels, these higher levels, because the most significant gains will be made from these lower levels and dollar cost averaging your position at these lower levels. Now, if we take a little bit of maths into consideration and have a look at the market cap of KDA. So let's go to market cap. So in its peak, this chart on CoinMarketCap is only showing a high of $21, but what we'll go with this, yeah? So this had a market cap of 3.39 billion at its peak, so call it 3.4 billion, and the current unlocked market cap is 128 million, and the fully diluted market cap is 389 million, so call it 400 million. So if we consider that the market cap of Kadena will get back to 3.5 billion, and we divide that by 400 million, that gives us an 8.75x just to get back to its current market cap. Now, depending on how much Kadena you have, if you have 5,000 Kadena, we times that by an 8.75, that's going to give you a return of $43,750. If you have 50,000 Kadena and we times that by 8.75, that's going to give you $437,500 return on your investment. So it all boils down to what your risk appetite is. I don't really look at too much of the fundamentals. I'm not in this space for the tech. I want to make money. I look at things from a risk to reward ratio. Currently, the R&R is significant. Should this reverse and start taking off, a lot of people will be left on the sidelines scratching their heads, wondering what the hell happened, and they'll be getting in much later. Even getting in at $2, if we are to break this particular local high, that's going to significantly lower your returns than if you were to get in from the current price point. So even just going from here to the all-time high, that's a 12x compared to a 71x from down here. Now, this was the bullish scenario and the bullish stance on KDA. I will also just talk about the bearish case. If we breach below this area here, so at approximately 31 cents, I will not be investing in this coin, and I will be waiting to see whether we come back above this line, because we could be in a macro ABC to the downside, and if we just take some fib levels, this could drop down to all the way down to 20 cents, to 15 cents, down to 10 cents. I would be out of the market for KDA at that point. I would be looking for some kind of reversal where we are coming up back above this line. If that begins to happen, I will be back into KDA. So to briefly recap, this is the line in the sand, approximately 31 cents at this all-time low here, and should we stay above it, I think it's a good sign. I think that KDA does have room to grow, and as the market becomes more and more bullish, especially if we enter an alt season, we've not seen any semblance of an alt season over the last 4 years. So should we get a proper alt season where alts are taking off and we're getting 20% pumps every day, then there's no reason why money will not flow into this coin. And the upside potential, as soon as we start getting some momentum to the upside, look what happened in these two areas here. This happened quite rapidly, and so did this, and these were quite significant returns from these lows here. So if we take it from here, that was a 4x, and this would have been another 4x, so 400% returns, which is not too shabby. Alright guys, I hope this video has been helpful. Any questions, please just ask in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.